And a constructive question, a good question, is when the questioner turns the question towards heaven. But then there's also a deconstructive question. A deconstructive question is when the questioner turns the question on the questioner itself. How am I going to make it? How am I going to get over? You see the difference? Yeah. Constructive is toward heaven. Lord, how are you going to help me? What would you like me to do? Teach me, God. Lead me, guide me. You're turning the question toward heaven. But a deconstructive question is saying, why did this happen to me? Not how are you going to steady my hand in it? A deconstructive question puts all the weight on the person asking the question. I don't know about you, but I got enough weight, I got enough stress, I got enough questions, I got enough heartache in my life. I'm not going to turn anything back on my own head. Everything that God gives me, I'm turning it back over Him. Lord, you are sovereign over all things. The battle is yours and not mine. The problem I sometimes have is I make the battle my battle. How am I going to get out of this? What should I do now? How am I going to fix this? And for every question, I raise my stress. But when God teaches us, when we learn to make our questions constructive, not denying or running from what is in front of us, but turning our questions and making them constructive toward heaven and saying, God, this is the real deal. This is the situation. This is the weight that I'm under. How, Lord, should I trust you in it? Show me, God, how my faith is being tested in it. Give me the strength to bear up under this weight, Lord. Not for me to figure it out for myself. There are constructive questions, and there are deconstructive questions. When we turn the pressure, the weight, the question on ourselves, we find ourselves limited by the question. Because when we get to a point in life, we're asking, why me? Why does this always happen to me? How am I going to figure it out? What we have now done is we have limited the resources and the way that it gets resolved. Because now it is resting on what I can do, what I can think, what I can figure out. But when we turn that same question, and instead of saying, why me, saying, why not God? What is God doing in the midst of it? What is God able to do? We now bring to the question the power, the unlimited scope of God Himself. And instead of limiting it to my weight and my burden, and my anxiety goes up, my heart condition goes down, my attitude falls to the ground, instead of putting it all on us, God says this morning, take the pressure off yourself and put it on me.